This is our second day of area and perimeter of rectangles. These examples are similar to what you will see on your SOL. So Neela is making rectangular placemats that are 12 inches wide and 15 inches long. That's good information. 12 inches wide, 15 inches long, and we also know that they're rectangular. So I'm actually going to draw a picture of a rectangle and label that it's 12 inches wide and 15 inches long. What is the least amount of ribbon that she will need to create a ribbon border about one placemat? Okay, so we're talking about a border. A border for this placemat would go around the figure. So this is a perimeter problem. Perimeter is equal to 2 lengths plus 2 widths, and you can find that formula on your formula sheet. If this side of the rectangle is 15, so is this side. If this side of the rectangle is 12, so is this side. So my perimeter would be 2 groups of 15, because 15 plus 15, which is 30, plus the 2 groups of 12, because 12 and 12 makes 24, so we have a perimeter of 54 inches. This is a more challenging problem. The more challenging problems won't necessarily tell you the length and the width, and instead they'll tell you either the area, the perimeter, and maybe one of the sides. So in this particular problem it says, Stanley is putting a fence around her rectangular garden. The perimeter of the garden is 20 yards. Which two measurements could be the dimensions of the garden? So I'm going to draw a picture. Here's my rectangular garden. I don't necessarily know what the length is, and I don't know what the width is. But I do know that the perimeter is equal to 20. Remember, the perimeter is this length plus that length, and then this width plus this width. Okay. I only need the length and the width, or half of the perimeter. I only need half of the perimeter because this length and this width is half of the distance all the way around. So half of the perimeter is equal to 10. That must mean that my length and my width would add up to 10, because if the blue side adds up to 10, the red side would add up to 10, making a total perimeter of 20. Looking at my options, the ways to make 10, well, 1 plus 9 would give me 10, 2 and 8 would give me 10, 3 and 7, 4 and 6, and 5 and 5. I see the 5, but it's only written once, so I won't be able to use that. I see a 4, but not a 6, so those two are not options. I do see a 3 and a 7. If my length is 7 and my width is 3, that means that these two sides together would be 10, and these two sides together would be 10, making a total perimeter of 20. Now let me go back and make sure I've answered what the question was. Which two measurements could be the dimensions? The dimensions are your length and width. So 3 yards and 7 yards would be the example, or would be the answers to that. The area of a rectangle is 36 square centimeters. So I'm going to draw my rectangle. I don't know the length, I don't know the width, but I do know that my area is 36 centimeters squared. And area, if you remember, is length times width. Which of the following could not be the possible perimeter of the rectangle? Well, before I could figure out the perimeter of the rectangle, I have to figure out what the side lengths are. To get area, I have to do length times width. So let me think of all the things I can multiply that would give me 36. So 1 times 36 would give me 36. 2 groups of 18 would give me 36. 3 groups of 12 would give me 36. 4 times 9 gives me 36. I can't use a 5, but I can use 6. 6 times 6. Now that I have all the possible dimensions for the area, now I have to figure out what the perimeters for these would be. Remember, perimeters are 2 lengths plus 2 widths. So 36 and 36 and 1 and 1. So to find the perimeter for that, 36 plus 36 would be 42, 43, 44. So this one would have a perimeter of 44. 2 groups of 2 plus 2 groups of 18. And yes, you can use a calculator for this. So if you're wondering how I'm able to do that so quickly, right? 2 groups of 18 plus 2 groups of 2 would give me a perimeter of 40. 2 groups of 3 plus 2 groups of 12. Well, 2 groups of 12 is 24, and 24 plus 6 is 30, so I've got a perimeter of 30. 2 groups of 4 plus 2 groups of 9. 2 groups of 9 is 18, and 2 groups of 4 is 8, giving me a perimeter of 26. And then this one would have, each side would be 6, so that actually would be 6 times 4, which is 24. So here are all of the possible perimeters I could have. The question's asking me which of these could not be a possible perimeter. Well, we had a perimeter of 40, so that one's not an option. We had a perimeter of 26, that can't be an option. We had a perimeter of 24, that can't be an option. So the only one left is 15, and given all of our different perimeters, we didn't have any that were equal to 15. Do you see how these are a little more challenging than they were from elementary school? You might be given an area, or you might be given a perimeter. You might be asked for a missing side, or you might be asked to find the perimeter or an area given missing information. These might require 2 steps. I might need to find the area, I might need to find the dimensions, and then go ahead and find the perimeter.